welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
All right.
As Zach would say, as Matthew McConaughey would say, all right, broads.
All right.
Bekah, I was not disappointed.
I have a lot to reveal over the course of this episode about
God.
myself in relation to this. Not actually.
I was like, oh my God.
No, I'm acting really serious. I'm just being really dry. I don't have anything to reveal. Except that I'm embarrassed at how hard I'm already simping for Matt James.
Bekah, I know we talked a lot of shit, and I think I love him.
Are you? Did you that's what I said. I said that to my neighbor today. I go, I love. Did he make you like kind of giddy, like just like joyful, exuberant?
Yes,
like
he made me
smile, like you're sitting alone smiling.
Yes, he made me giddy, like I was like in high school again. He also made me kind of teary a couple times.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's
me too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like because he is so nervous that might be what it is.
It's very humanizing.
Yes, it doesn't feel, it feels less like you're watching
the days of old Colton and Nick Viall
exactly.
and you know, any of them really.
Yeah, where they know it's like, especially like you're saying, Colton, Nick, like they've did this so many times in a row before they were the Bachelor, and Matt knows nothing of it. And I truly had never thought of it like that. I was just irritated selfishly, like we don't know anything about Matt.
The only one it was like sort of that was maybe more similar would be Ari's season, because he hadn't been on TV in like 5 or 6 years.
True.
So he was super nervous and anxious.
That's true. And that first night with him was sweet. Yeah. And it was sweet that first night with him, because you could tell that Ari was nervous.
But there's something special about Matt for sure. I know. I felt like I developed a big crush on him throughout the episode.
I know.
Didn't you? You're just like, wait, I like really like him. Like, I like him. I like him.
Yeah, me too. And I'm, beforehand, it was just like, I don't like the way that they decided. Again,
Jess and I have been talking some mad shit.
We were like, he's going to be a party boy. I mean, because of the recent party times. Still,
we were like, he just wants
disapproving of these. But
he just wants an IG thotty. He wants clout. He wants this and that.
But it was like, I love him. And you know what? I know we've said this and we've heard it and seen it so many times recently, especially because of the Bachelor diversity campaign. But I saw them post, and it like shook me to the core too. Earlier, before I started watching the episode, that it was like 19 years, 25 seasons, first Black Bachelor.
Wow.
And then I was like, and then watching him, and then when he was talking about in the episode about the pressure that he felt. And again, that was not something that I had even processed through, where he hasn't even ever been on this show before. This is all so brand new to him. And now
you
he
and
feels
I don't have to
pressure.
think about stuff like that.
No, of course not.
Meanwhile, he is like, well, and he made a really interesting point to Chris, which we'll obviously get into a second. But he was like, I'm both. And he sort of highlighted this the issues he's faced, or like the struggles he has with his identity being mixed. And that was like something that, like, the way he worded things was really interesting insight. So, and his particular unique struggles. And so it's pretty interesting.
You and I were talking mad shit, and we were also so like, we'll see if we end up liking him. Cut to the first episode ever,
6
and
minutes
we're just
in,
like,
and I'm like, I was holding myself back from texting Jess, being like, I love him.
Also, I was thrilled. Sorry, TC, no shade, but I was thrilled that we didn't get a Tyler Cameron appearance. It was just about Matt. At least give us 1 week just about Matt.
Thank God.
I thought he was going to be in the bio.
We know who the real Clout King is now.
We know who the real
was Matt. I thought it was Matt trying to hop onto Tyler's fame.
I think we got TC is our Lord and Savior, King of Clout. I think that's what we're figuring out. Seems to be. Maybe Matt's like, I kind of just want to have this season by myself, and Tyler's the one pounding at the door like, remember me, America.
I know. What if Tyler didn't even really, I bet like Matt didn't even care about like going on The Bachelor, and Tyler's like, do it, man, do it, thinking like, when we go to paradise together, we're gonna rule the beach.
Or what if Tyler Cameron all of a sudden had these thoughts like, I've changed my mind and I want to be the next Bachelor. And then ABC decided to have Matt James as the Bachelor. And TC is like, oh, shit. I was really, really hoping to be the comeback king. But also, aside from Matt James, can we talk about this cast of women?
We're about to get into it. Also, one last thing. Unpopular opinion here. But I know how we were saying that we wanted Ivan as the Bachelor.
You want Matt James now? I know.
I'm like, he brings something special, Ivan brought something special and something different too, sure. But Matt, you know, I'm sorry I got turned around so quickly. But Matt, like, okay, I text my friend this.
He brings something special. I love it because this is like a Zach moment for you, going from the Zach and Tasha where you're like, oh, I hate Zach. I don't like him. But now it's just like, I
love to be proven
Zach.
wrong.
I know. It's one of my favorite things about you.
So, yeah, I'm fully obsessed with Matt James. Now, see, I was texting my friend and I was saying the thing about him is that, you know, cast members always try to be, or leads always try to be vulnerable. Like, I'm vulnerable. You're vulnerable. Now I sound like I'm hopping on Tasha, but you know what I mean. Everyone's like, you're so vulnerable. Matt is truly one of the most like vulnerable. He's like
vulnerable in his expression of not being vulnerable, which is something that we don't typically see.
Exactly.
It's real.
Versus Colton being like, it's so hard for me to be vulnerable. Like, and then talking to, I don't know. It's like, sometimes it's just different.
It's unspoken.
Matt is just like a real guy on the show, just being like, yeah, man, I struggle with some shit, and just leaving it at that. Yep. Not trying to have any like arc of like, I used to struggle and now I'm no, he's just like laying it out there. Just
now, what I'm praying, and I don't want to be a pessimist here, but what I'm praying is it's not just because he's nervous and then all of a sudden we get a shift. I don't think so. I truly think that we really got to see at least a little piece of Matt.
I think he might fumble it with some of the women, though.
I think he's going to in a way that I might love because it will be real.
I see. That's the thing. I kept picturing him sort of being like a real guy that I would date. Not like me in particular,
You're
but
like Matt James and I were walking on the beach last night. He put his arms around the small of my waist.
No,
he
but
looked
like
deep into my eyes.
I guess what I'm saying is not my life in particular, but like real boyfriend problems.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Like I can see him fumbling with one of the women and like putting his foot in his mouth accidentally and just being like, fuck, like, why do I always do this kind of shit? Like, I think he's going to have those kind of moments.
Yeah, I think I could see like him maybe getting intimate with one of the women sexually. And then maybe instead of doing the classic Bachelor, like, I'm going to sit everyone around and like explain, maybe he might do something different because he doesn't know the quote unquote rules.
He just sends her home.
And then but people might get upset about it, but it's like, no, he doesn't necessarily. Yes, he's learned many things, I'm sure, from TC, but this is his first time and his first go around. And I think we're going to see something so special because of that. And I hadn't thought about that part.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting for sure. I also think that, I don't remember what I was going to say. Anyway, let's get into it.
Oh, quick, just we have to just acknowledge this before we dive into. As far as Bachelor Tea goes, just quick update. Tasha, Zach doing marvelously. Yeah. They're in New York. They're thriving together.
I comment on like every single one of their posts.
I'm obsessed with the fact that they're posting barely any content. I love it. This is not, they didn't go off the show and all of a sudden they're just like chasing all this clout. They are in love. They are barely posting anything together. I'm just obsessed with them.
Oh, also, I don't know. I was going to say maybe we just toss out the idea to the listeners that we might be adding some more content in the future.
Oh, yes. We might be adding some more content in the future.
Hint, anyway, I'll just leave it. Yeah. You guys loved when we had our date night with the boys, going through the cast bio list, and let's just say we're feeling some inspiration to add some new content to the mix.
Yeah, maybe an episode or two.
Little tease.
And then the other thing is that the perfect end to 2020, Peter and Kelley broke up.
Oh, there's some tea on that.
I heard
I
that
don't know
there's some tea.
I don't really know what to believe. So, okay, here's what's floating around.
Mm-hmm.
On one end, it's floating around that like Kelley just dropped out of nowhere right before they were going to move in together, and Kelley just like ghost dipped, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then the other tea is that Peter was a cheatin', which
with some like wannabe influencer.
Yeah. Either way, they're done, and it was literally like they started their relation. Like Peter started out
2020.
Peter fucking flew the plane into 2020 for us, and what a shit show that was. And now here we are. And he really wrapped up his relationship in 2020 with Kelley right before 2021. And again, just a way to wrap it up. Of course, Barb was commenting on his post. Sweet Nums was just like, we love Kelley so much. Someone check on Barb. Who knows how she's
probably
doing.
Texting Kelley like every couple of hours, like a forlorn ex, being like,
100%.
Hey, checking in on how you're doing. Hey, hope your day's going well. Hey, I think you left this at my house. That's Barb texting Kelley right now.
Barb just texting Kelley so many selfies. And Kelly's just like doing everything she can not to block her. She's like, I had to deal with this woman our entire relationship.
And I bet Barb's just texting her thing like, she's like at Nordstrom's thinking of you XX. And it's like, do you like these on me, with like her in a pair of sunglasses?
Okay, Kelley, quick thought. I bought us matching riding boots from Nordstrom's, easily returnable. My favorite thing about Nordstrom's.
You're a size 9, right?
Just like me. That's why we've always been able to share shoes. Kelley doesn't answer. Knock on her door 24 hours later. I brought them over. I thought we could take a walk around the park, and I'm socially distanced, of course.
Mask up. Here's a matching mask.
Oh, Barb.
Want to make a TikTok? Hey, Kelley, want to make a TikTok?
Hey, Kelley, where's your mom? Is she around?
Oh my God, dude. I forgot that they made like a video of them meeting for the first time.
I just picture Barb and Kelley's mom and Kelley doing the no rush, slow touch TikTok, where they do the makeup brush and then they go from like no makeup to makeup. Barb going into the camera just like topless.
Oh, I'm trying to see like what her latest content has been. Oh my God, did she delete? Bro, this woman is out of fucking control. She is out of control.
Oh,
all right.
We miss you, Barb.
Someone said, "Love your pants, Sweet Nums. Where are they from?" She responded back, "TJ Maxx." Yeah, I was thinking something like that.
God, I forget how obsessed I am with Barb.
Honey, I'm at Marshall's right now. And I just thought that this cover up was so cute. I know you're going to the Revolve Tulum thing. I thought this would be cute.
I thought it would be perfect.
She's like, oh my God, Barb, that's so sweet. We actually have to wear the Revolve clothes while we're there. Well, maybe we could wear it out to let's get lunch, honey. I miss you.
We love a spicy marg together. I like it. Some Taco Tuesday when the restaurant's open again, honey.
Oh my God. Oh my God, this video they made in September with Peter and Kelley making out in the background.
Yes, and the two moms.
As the moms do like a fight dance thing. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's unreal.
It was the best content that has hit 2020. We didn't deserve it. It was a blessing truly for us.
Oh my God. When she's making her son's girlfriends do a kick line with her. Bitch.
Honestly, the Lord knew that we were in a rough spot in the world, and he sent his angel Sweetums down and is just like, give this to them. And she just provided us all this content.
All right.
All right. Speaking of the Lord, should we talk about Matt James?
Yes, before
we get into Matt James, also speaking of the Lord, let's talk about our sponsors. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I'm really excited about this for sponsor because it's on my bed right now.
Oh, and also this sponsor has been perhaps one of my most favorite sponsors we've ever had ever. And it's been a long time since we've talked about them.
Yeah, I love them.
Obsessed. If there is one room, broads, in your home that is without a doubt worth investing into, it has to be your bedroom. Like Bekah was saying, more specifically, your bedding. You do, after all, spend more than a third of your life in bed. Okay, that's a long time. And over the last few years, I said out with the scratchy cotton college sheets of my youth and in with premium bedding that will help make the place I spend the most time comfortable. And out of all the brands I've tried, and there have been a lot, you know what my favorite brand is. It is Attitude.
If you need to go to shop for sustainably made bedding, sleepwear, bathwear, accessories, Attitude is your place. All of their products are made from 100% bamboo, which is superior to other fabrics for a lot of reasons. So first of all, it's free of harmful chemicals, free of allergens, free of additives. It's safer for the environment. And the bamboo just gives this light, feathery texture that is similar to silk, and I love it.
Oh, it's so good. I know saying that might ignite some eye rolls of disbelief. Like, sure, bamboo is not going to feel like silk, but broads, yes, we wouldn't lie to you. I feel like it's better. It feels nicer on my body. When I first got into my first set of Attitude sheets, I slept better that night than I had in so long. Same thing with Evan. He slipped in the first time that I put those on. He's never loved me more. He woke up the next day. It was miraculous. They're so soft and temperature regulating, so you sleep peacefully through the whole night. Without a doubt, the best upgrade I've made to my bedroom in years.
And right now you can get 20% off your order plus free shipping when you visit attitude.com/chatty and enter promo code chatty. And remember, that's Attitude as in eco attitude. Okay, so attitude with an E.
We
E
love
for
that.
eco.
We love that Attitude.
Order today for free shipping and 20% off your order at attitude.com/chatty, promo code chatty.
Oh, broads. Is there any better feeling in the world than realizing midway through the day that, oh my God, it's Friday, or that maybe it's Bachelor Monday and you are wanting to rosé your face off via Zoom with your Broad Squad friends, regardless of the day? That little bit of wine at the end of the day has been mama's little treat lately. And the only place I've been getting my wine from is through First Leaf.
First Leaf is the latest and greatest wine club, and they send personalized selections of wine from top vineyards directly to you. I get my shipments once a month, and I swear it's like Christmas when they arrive. It's Christmas every single month when I get my First Leaf. I've gotten to try so many new types of wine. I really like that. Get some variety. And I've even learned I actually love some of the varieties I thought weren't for me. So I'm expanding my palate.
Yes. And that's what's so cool about First Leaf. Unlike other wine clubs, they use a specific algorithm plus your feedback to curate future wine recommendations. This means with each delivery, your selections get more and more tailored to your specific taste. When my delivery comes, we like to treat ourselves to some takeout food, crack open one of the bottles, truly complete that Friday night experience. And by the way, these are nice wines, broads. Okay, this is high quality, but wow. Does First Leaf have a deal for you?
I mean, it's pretty incredible.
It's a kind of an absurd deal.
Join today, and you're going to get 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping. Amazing. Just go to tryfirstleaf.com/chatty. 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping at tryfirstleaf.com/chatty. You could go to your local grocery store and you could buy some $5 wine that's going to be decent but give you a headache, or you could get some quality wine from First Leaf for the same price.
And these bottles are normally at least $20. You
don't even have to leave your house to get it from the grocery store.
No, we're staying in. We're staying in. We're drinking that fine wine.
Anyway, speaking of, let's talk about the fine wine that is Matt James and his cast of beautiful women.
In my opinion, hands down, and I would probably venture to say the world's, hands down the most beautiful cast we've ever seen.
Except my cast.
I mean, obviously.
No, I was like...
It was like...
Everyone's a baddie.
I was pausing every few seconds to be like, Evan, come look at her. I just couldn't believe it.
It was pretty crazy.
It was incredible.
All right, we start off with the vibrator scene up front. We already know in the teaser that shit's gonna get wild before we hop in. So
we get a prelude to what this season is gonna look like, and it is exciting.
Which it's actually like, whatever. Let's just move into this. I could pontificate for hours about my thoughts on this season and my thoughts previous to the season and all that.
Well, it's our girl Katie coming out, who, by the way, Broad's quick plug, if you haven't listened to our last episode where we go over the cast bios, we'll probably be referring to that quite a bit in this because...
I don't remember who anyone is mostly, except for like Anna.
I'm gonna help you remember.
And Kit, of course.
I'll be going back. But Katie, in our cast bios that we had with Grayston and Evan, was one that we said we're gonna love her. She works in banking, but she's probably I know that she said that she wanted to have her own talk show one day. And Katie comes in, and Katie has a specific plan. She says that she has a strategy.
Okay, wait, don't we get to her actual entrance later in the episode?
We just see her produce the vibrator, basically.
Okay.
At the top of this.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yes. I was going to say this is just we see that actual scene.
Yes. We see her tell Matt James that she's been lonely through the pandemic and that something has gotten her through a lot. And then she hands him a vibrator. He's dying laughing, which let me say something about Matt James. Part one of my favorite things about Matt James, this list I'm sure will continue to grow, his laugh. His laugh is what brings joy to my soul.
Okay, his laugh is super nervous energy and makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, see, I was obsessed with it. He kind of has this boisterous laugh.
He also sometimes sounds like he's trying to laugh like Barack Obama.
Don't hate that.
It's just like, ha, ha, ha.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, regardless. Okay, so let's get started to night one. The beginning of night one, Chris is in front of the mansion.
It's sprawling.
He's
absolutely
saying
sprawling.
that they knew they wanted to make Matt James the minute they met him, which I kind of actually, I would have doubted it before, but now on this first night, I'm like, okay, maybe that was the plan all along. And they saw that he had a really malleable, sweet personality. And he was black, which they knew they needed to do eventually.
Well, you wonder because he was going to be on Claire's season, obviously, which was a little bit of a head scratcher to me because, to be real, that didn't seem necessarily I don't know, I just couldn't picture Matt and her together, really.
I think they were going to put him on whoever season it was.
And then had plans for him to become the Bachelor, for sure.
I mean, they probably already had plans for Tayshia to be the Bachelorette and switch out from Claire. So they probably planned for him to be the star of Tayshia's season.
I think
which he probably would have done well with.
For sure. I think that Chris Harrison is kind of obsessed with Matt James and wants Matt James to be his best friend. Did you get that vibe?
It's kind of weird. Yeah. So he says a record-breaking number of women applied. I'm like, yes, that's because they're all now seeing how many followers they can get coming off a season. No offense, Matt, but I don't think it has to do much with you.
Also, probably the fact that everyone was home and was like, get me out.
I got to go to a mansion. Let's go. Cuts to some background info about Matt. We know he has his nonprofit. Takes poor kids to eat food and work out is what I got from that.
Yeah, he takes kids. He said 50% of them are homeless. So
there's definitely some people who are messaging me being like, can you guys talk about sort of the problematic nature of whatever? I don't want to get into it, but
yeah, I'm going to have to look more into what it specifically is before I would get into that. Yeah, because I don't know, and I don't know much about this nonprofit. So
me neither.
I would want to look into it before I would speak into it, right?
Yeah, no, I'll relay some of the criticism, which does not necessarily reflect my beliefs because I don't know enough about it. But I've definitely got a number of messages from people who are like sort of problematic in nature, these types of nonprofits, because basically they just sort of give give this group of kids a good experience while being able basically to use it to make themselves look good. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I would go so far to say that, but anyway, he's involved in that nonprofit.
Like I said, I don't know anything about the nonprofit because I don't know if it's a nonprofit where it's helping with outside schooling and tutoring. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily.
No, what they do basically is they take kids to go see a restaurant and see how the restaurant operates, and then they'll eat a meal from the restaurant.
Got it.
And do sort of field trips kind of stuff. Which whatever, that's cool. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, look, for the people criticizing, I get it, but also do you have a nonprofit?
Yeah.
Do you take your free time to go take kids to go eat at restaurants? Maybe. But probably not. So anyway, moving on. Matt comes flying in over the mansion in style.
Biplane.
They're like, see, outdoors 6 feet away from the pilot.
Seriously, they
Safe.
really took their precautions.
No private jet. We're going to have flying in on it.
He had his aviators on, and they didn't even show you that there was a pilot in front of him, so it looked like he was flying the plane, and Peter is shitting himself.
Shitting.
Peter's just like, that was my luck. Why didn't they let me fly a biplane?
And so I like it because it's like he's flying into the city on that plane, like as if that was like the plane that he took to get there.
Yes.
Because then we see him in his car driving up to the mansion.
Yes, with his snazzy car. I was telling you, I'm
Very
like,
snazzy.
They
It's like black and red interior. Okay.
They were going full. They are going full luxury. They're
trying to do double. So it's funny because I said 007, and then somebody pointed out that in one of the promo photos, there's a woman with like a smoking gun in the background and like a shadow.
They're doing this whole 007 thing. Yeah. I mean, it's all very luxurious. It's very luxe. Like,
what's the 007 theme song? I just know the Incredibles one. Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, anyway.
I've seen a couple of the Daniel Craig films, one or two.
The Daniel Craig film.
Daniel Craig. But no, he then ends up pulling up to, he gets this great mansion.
Fantastic.
All I could think about was how they did Claire and Tayshia so dirty, where they had like a small hotel room that they had to stay in the entire time, and that Matt James gets a sprawling...
I mean, there wasn't even an intro like we're seeing with him driving up in the car. Like it was just basic.
They made
so kitschy in comparison.
Claire had to drive there herself because of quarantine, so she had like a jug next to her that she could pee into, remember? She was with her dog in her car and like her Jeep or something, and she was just driving to La Quinta. She was like having to make COVID stops at the gas stations and all this, and then Matt James, they really outdid themselves. But I loved watching it.
Truly. Okay, so we also get an intro into his mom, and he talks a little bit about his background, about his parents splitting. His dad's black, his mom's white, and she was a single mom. She was Christian, which we also learn about.
And she is glam. She walks in, and she's maybe staying with him the whole time. We don't really know.
Okay. Was this conversation like sort of, there was tension there? Was the conversation weird?
Okay, yes. And at first I thought tension, but then I was like, again, neither of them have been on camera before. So this is maybe a first time conversation.
I think it was just a novel weird thing, but it was a weird conversation. She's like, what if everything is never in place though, Matt? Like,
yeah, it was kind of intense.
And then he's like, well, there's no such thing as a perfect family. And I'm like, Guys, this is The Bachelor. There is no such thing as perfect happy endings. What are you saying?
Like,
stop.
Continue to sell the lie.
What?
That's part of the franchise.
She's like, what if maybe everything's never in place? He's like, well, there's no perfect families. And I'm like,
well, and then even the way that she's like, it's pretty neat that you're scared of getting your heart broken, because that means that one of these women could actually break your heart, which means that you actually think the process works. And I was like, damn, Mom.
That's quite like a jump. I mean, like, it makes sense.
It does
but, like,
make
do we
sense.
have to take that logical path to get there? Like, why can't you just say, I'm looking forward to finding my person? And she's like, yes, love exists.
Yeah, or like, maybe your heart won't get broken, sweetie. Maybe you'll end up finding the love of your life. She's a realistic woman. Now, I was
like a hard ass.
She was in leather pants. She's looking so glam. She looks incredible. And all I could think about was, number one, I want to look just like her when I'm older. Number two, she looks so much like Celine Dion to me. I was having a hard time concentrating. Broads, go back and watch or look at his photos. She looks like Celine Dion. So all I was thinking in the entire time we were watching, or I was watching this this scene, was I just heard every night in my dream.
That's almost like Shakira crossed over with Celine Dion.
Yeah, it's always a fine line.
I see you. I feel you.
That is how I know you.
That was almost like a little Dolly Parton.
You know what? I'm channeling the greats.
I'm not hating. I like it. They're speaking through you. Well, at this point in my notes, I wrote down, I actually don't hate him, ... yet.
That's when you're starting to cross over.
I'm like, we'll tiptoe into I like Matt James.
We're on the same. We were exactly on the same track, girlfriend.
I was like,
this is where I was like, I did want to note too, we see a lot of him at the gym. Wow, an athlete. An absolute athlete.
That means he's gonna, if I was with him, he'd be spending probably more time with the weights than with me, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'd be very jealous.
Same. But I just kept thinking about Colton, who was like, you know, also ex-football player, and he was like ex-pro football player, right? Like Matt James is just like ex-football player. I feel like they made it more of a deal on Colton's season. And when we saw Colton, let's be real, we just saw a lot of shower scenes with Colton. We did not see the level of athleticism that we were seeing. Okay?
Oh, you're talking about like Colton has the aesthetics, but we're seeing...
Well, just like Colton was just like, I was a professional football player, and we're like, we're just seeing a lot of shower scenes, and I'm watching Matt James
watching you soap up yourself up a lot.
Exactly. I'm watching Matt James lift his face off, just go ham
Harden
on
the
that
paint.
Peloton, which they talked about the Peloton numerous times. I have a feeling like there's an advertising thing going on. I kept catching the Peloton in the background, and then one of the girls made a comment. She's like, I'll just ride away on my Peloton. And I'm like,
Well, that's reflective of the COVID times.
True.
And
Very true.
something we're all in together.
Very true.
Peloton crew just rode mine last night.
Oof.
Except I have the Schwinn. It's
Yeah.
like a third of the price.
I have a rower.
Do you really?
I do.
Do you use it?
I just row all day.
Do you really?
Yeah, when I watch YouTube videos, I just row.
Nice.
I'm like, my shoulders are gonna be stacked.
You know what you should do? You should do one of the like high speed videos, and it's just you going like this, back and forth, super fast.
I took a video once
seconds.
of me in my pajamas rowing, singing a Christmas song, and I almost put it out. And then I was just like, this is just too odd.
You know, yeah. I tried.
It was too weird. We tried to make it a little different, and it just didn't land.
Okay, so now we meet the girls, and they're all doing their initial intros in masks.
Yes.
It's also a sign of the COVID times.
Yes, and we see the first person we see, like a quick clip of, is we see Alicia, the ballerina, on a rooftop.
Talk about athleticism.
Oh my God. On a rooftop, stunning New York rooftop, mask on, ballet dancing, chills all over my body. I'm already like, I'm done. It was just magic.
We have Abigail, who talks about being totally deaf.
Yes.
You brought up last time.
By the way, I wanted to make an apology. In the last episode, I referred to Abigail as hearing impaired, and numerous broads reached out and said that typically the deaf community does prefer the term deaf or hard of hearing. So I just wanted to make that caveat there.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, broads. But yes, we find out that she was born completely deaf, like you said.
Just 'cause she can't hear anything without her cochlear implant.
Mm-hmm. And she said that she's like, it's awkward to bring up on a date, but I love that we saw her say too that she loves when people ask about it or like ask her questions and talk about it, because then later, of course, we see Matt acknowledge it right away, and she brings it up right away, and he lets, I know I'm jumping ahead, but when he tells her, he's like, I'll make sure that I enunciate really well. I was like,
and then I was watching his enunciation, and he proceeded to talk out the side of his mouth for basically their entire conversation.
Matt, stop.
Although, like, does a cochlear implant mean you can hear some stuff?
You know what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think either of us know anything, but maybe let's have a deaf broad on. Yeah, deaf.
You know what? I feel like I was sent a DM at some point, somewhat recently, of someone on Instagram. Like, oh, you should check out this person on Instagram.
Cool, send it our way.
She was deaf, so yeah, please. Then we get to see Kristen.
Is that the one who loves her fringy dress, and she loves a good drink and a good Cardi B song?
Yes, who is the lawyer. She's one of the lawyers. She's one of the lawyers. I really like Kristen a lot. Also, side tea about Kristen is what's been floating around Instagram in the past couple days is that someone posted about Kristen and she said that a girl I knew in college is going to be on The Bachelor, and one time after an alumni event, she took a subway with me and a man all the way in the wrong direction because he was trying to cheat on his wife with me, and I was too dull to notice. So anyways, I think she should win, and that's about Kristen. And we're just like, Kristen.
I need more context, but love it.
Love it. We love it. Also, we see Maggie, who is
She's always looking like a straight queen.
I started to follow her on Instagram, and I mean, probably one of the most stunning human beings I've ever seen in my entire life.
But the queen has showed up and it ain't you, bitch.
It's not you. And on top of all of this, we didn't see this in the cast bio. She mentions, okay, so she moved from Ethiopia to get her doctorate in pharmaceuticals, right? She said, we didn't see in the cast bio, she was saying that she was like in school for it or something. She mentioned that she's like, oh yeah, and I finished school. So she got her doctorate. So she's a doctor. And she runs a nonprofit.
I don't know if Matt James can handle this. It's a little too much woman for him, maybe.
I'm like, my goodness. I just remember when, no shade to influencers in Pete season, but I remember with Pete season, it was just beauty queens and influencers, and I'm just
Kelley
like,
was
well,
like
hello.
Kelley was like the most we had going.
Yep. Holy smokes.
Then we have
Anna. We didn't get their names. We didn't get most people's names.
No,
we just
it was hard for me to see who is who.
I know.
Who is the new McKenna? To me, less annoying though.
Yes. You know how in our cast bio we said we bet that they'll be friends? Apparently they've been commenting on each other's Instagrams. So nailed that.
Okay. Apparently there's a lot of psychic moments going on from what I've heard.
Yes, absolutely. And Anna/Anna,
Wait, is it Anna or Anna?
I don't know.
Do we even know?
I think it's Anna.
I'm calling her Anna. Well, you do Anna, I'll take Anna, and we'll cover everything.
Perfect. Let's just do the whole scope. But also, yeah, so she is like, I mean, the biggest smile. Like, we thought that's how she was going to be.
She's
Big
like,
smile.
I just love caffeine.
She's like, double cups.
I'm like, oh no.
Her energy was...
She's like one of those girls who'd be like, I would say if I were an animal, definitely a squirrel. And you're like, yes, we know.
I felt like when she was holding those cups of coffee, I could just see her shaking. It's just like the coffee's just pouring out. And she's just like, I can't wait to meet Matt James. She's also taking caffeine supplements with her 2 cups of coffee.
She's like, it's recommended to not do more than 200 milligrams a day. So I'm skirting 220. I feel like I've got the capacity for it.
Honestly, honey, if anyone can handle it, it's me.
Oh, man.
Because I love caffeine.
Well, then we get to Sarah, who already made me cry.
Oh, yeah.
The first 20 minutes talking about her dad being diagnosed with ALS and how she switched up her news broadcasting job to take care of him full time.
Yeah, that was, and she's the twin of Alexis Rose from Schitt's Creek. Also, she looks like Crystal.
I thought you meant in real life. I was like,
you're like, wow, this
wow.
is no. She just
star-studded cast.
She looks so much like her though.
She does, and I didn't see that very similar facial structure for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, no, that was really heartbreaking, and I feel like we're definitely going to find out more. I think she's going to stick around for quite some time. I felt like they had chemistry.
Yes. Am I just like reading into it because she sort of reminds me of looks like Crystal, or is there like some sort of villain thing that might happen?
I feel what you're, yes, because I don't know.
There's like just a slight twinge of being like, is this going to turn?
Do you know what also I've noticed is that I feel like often in production, the cast members that the first part of them, they show, like an emotional piece or a hard piece of their life, they become the villain later in the season. Like not the initial like Queen Victoria. Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. I don't know. It might just be because she has major Crystal vibes. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, we're rewatching my season. It's like Crystal's story was really sad.
Yeah.
About her brother and like all this, like she had been through some really rough shit. And that sort of got exposed like really early on, and then it really turned. So I don't know, but anyway, Piper's super cute.
Piper is super cute, and we also hear her say that she's really excited to see. She's saying how she doesn't often see someone like herself represented on screen. She's excited to be part of that. I like her energy a lot. I have a feeling too. She's another one that I feel like might end up staying longer. Maybe a little bit of a sleeper.
Well, Matt's headed to the mansion.
The chateau, as it's called.
Love that. Love the chateau vibes.
Love the chateau. Just picturing Bennett being in there the whole time and everyone just being like, why are you still here?
Okay, Chris had like really weird energy, and this is gonna like, okay.
Oh my God, what are you gonna say?
Part of me is like, is Chris like really hyper aware of like the things that he's saying to the first Black Bachelor? Because Chris is like scared of getting canceled or some shit.
Yeah, probably.
Because
because the energy,
the energy was like very nervous on Chris's end.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, "Damn, you're tall," and I was like, "What?"
And it's like when by the way, he knows Matt. Like there's photos of them golf. I mean, like he knows this man.
It's weird. Well, then Matt's like, "Can I ask you a few things first?" And then Chris takes him into the already candlelit and fire roaring drawing room.
After Chris acts shocked.
Yeah.
You
what? Okay.
You want to
Let me
ask
take you into this room of 1,000 burning candles that we just have going.
Casual.
A bit of a safety hazard, but
you mean with the giant elk, behind us, and are these mahogany shells?
this is normally where I would do this sort of thing in this kind of room. So they sit down, and Chris says, "I sense that you're nervous." Chris says that there's going to be times when you're going to want to choke me out.
I know, and they kind of like laugh. Like he like laughs awkwardly, and then Matt feels.
I'm like, times where he wants to choke you out. Have you ever said that to any contestant before?
And he's just like, yeah, it's just like part of the process. He's like, you just gotta be vulnerable, and you might want to choke me out at some point. And it was like, what?
I've also never heard
really
him say "man" so many times. He's like, "Yeah, man."
Yeah, no,
Man, and I was like, "When have you ever said this to contestants either?"
And
What
like
the
I said,
fuck?
I also feel like he is obsessed with Matt James. Like he
kind of is.
He wants Matt to call him when Matt like wants to play a round of golf or like wants to like, throw a football around. Chris wants to be part of the quarantine crew, and I think Chris wants Matt James to like him more than Tyler Cameron. Like I think
Chris
he cares
is kind of
more about
obsessed
that.
with, like Hannah Brown too.
That's true.
They're in close proximity to each other.
And Chris Harrison's like a big sports fan, I think. So he probably wants to like talk shop with Matt.
My man.
Oh God, it's like an uncomfortable dad.
You're like, "Yeah, Mr. Harrison, I'm sorry, I have homework."
I'm supposed to be giving out these roses.
Like, come on, I'm divorced. I don't have anyone else to watch TV with.
He's just like, Matt's just like later in the season, he's like, but Mr. Chris Harrison, I gotta go give these roses out. That's what the producers are saying. He's like, we can put it off another hour. This game is going long. Come on into my
Another
hotel
gin
room.
martini? Another Moscow mule? My man?
Made him myself.
Good Lord. Okay. So, they have a real conversation though.
Mm-hmm. They do. And that's when kind of like what we briefly went over earlier, that he brings up talking about that he's nervous about the pressure that he's put on himself being the first Black Bachelor.
Yeah. And he goes into what that means. He says, like, look, having an interracial marriage is hard. Like, I've witnessed it. Mm-hmm. And then he's also like, I don't want to disappoint the Black community. He basically is like, I'm having a hard time shutting out everyone's opinions because I want to like make like the right decisions and be like a good representative of my race, which is obviously crazy that he's in that position, but he is the first Black Bachelor in 30 years.
Yeah.
So he's going to have that pressure on him regardless.
It's also was just like such a real and like this conversation, just to think that he's having to have this conversation and thinking about, for instance, like a Colton. I know I keep going back to him, or like Colton, who can come in and like, of course, this is nothing that Colton has to worry about. And just the idea that Matt James feels this pressure. Again, this is also a completely new experience for him. There's just so many factors.
Totes. Okay, so meeting the ladies.
So now we get to meet the ladies. The limos pull up and the women are actually screaming. They're chanting his name. And before we talk about all the women, there were so many women who like looked at him and specifically were saying, like, I'm obsessed with you. You're so hot.
You're so hot. And I was like, well, but I was just like, I guess that's what you say when you like don't know this guy.
That's true. That's true. They haven't
what
been
are you
watching
gonna comment
him.
other on than like how he looks, you know?
Well, our first lady, Bree,
She's glowing.
I mean, the dress, the green silk dress, the low back, but what a move. She says, I don't know if this was a power move or this was like an awkward move that she did by accident, but he asks her his name and then she asks his name. So he's like, what's your name? Bree. And she's like, what's your name? And he's like, Matt. But I was like, that's either an amazing power move just to be like, yeah, I have never met you. What's your name? Yes, there are cameras here. Yes, I know I signed up for, but what's your name? I loved it.
Probably an awkward move.
Probably an awkward move, but I was still
I didn't
just
even
like,
catch it.
check, love it.
Rachel is like classic movie star stunning and is also looks like Hannah Ann. But she has this like movie star look to her. It could be the red lip.
I immediately took down, this is top 4. Rachel, I think, is top 4 for sure.
Fucking easy.
Easy, right? Like, he was taken aback by her. She's stunning. Hannah Ann. We always have a Hannah Ann in the top 4. And she was also, just from her cast photos, she was way more like va-va-voom than I expected.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sarah is glittering off the screen in her dress.
Carrie is so excited because she is rocking a sparkly dress and huge chandelier earrings. So Carrie, the wardrobe stylist, is salivating. He's like, I foresee the next Bachelorette is in our midst.
I have a suggestion, like Mr. Fleiss. Mr. Fleiss.
He rings him immediately. He's on the phone just immediately.
I think this Sarah has star power.
He's watching from the rafters of the chateau. He's like, that one.
He's like the Phantom.
He's just in the rafters, just trying to find his next Bachelorette.
Chosen.
Who's willing to have the most chandelier.
She is the chosen. Okay. Is it Yesenia?
Yesenia.
Yesenia. I don't know why I'm saying Yesenia. I guess it's like a Spanish thing. Yesenia is very gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, some of these girls have got like body, little curvy babies coming out of the limos.
Absolutely stunning. I feel like after every person, I have to be like, yes, they were also absolutely gorgeous.
And also, it's so funny because Matt just can't. He's just like fully like, okay, and I'm going to just stare at your butt as you walk away.
As they walk away.
I'm like, oh my God. It's a long ass walk to the top of those stairs.
It is a very long walk.
I'm not jealous of them with
and
that.
We saw
how awkward.
Quite a few people stumble.
Yeah, because also what is he going to do? Like watch them go up 2 steps and then like just turn around for 45 seconds?
That
like,
feels like dismissive. But then
right,
when you
so
watch them just
attention.
walk away for a long time, that feels like, you're like, am I being creepy? Like, I don't know. And then next we have Chelsea. Okay. Chelsea is our runway model from New York.
Oh my God, killing it.
And she did not disappoint.
She said, let's make history together. And he just said, I'm really happy you're here. And I was like,
Yes,
okay.
you are.
Okay.
I personally think, in my opinion, that's the best dress we've ever seen. It was fashion. Like, I know she's runway model, but like the cutouts, the train.
Kit wishes.
Kit
thought she fucking did something showing up like
in
a
one of her
Cynthia Rowley Big Bird.
In one of her mom's dresses.
Well, obviously that's all she's going to be wearing the whole fucking season.
Course.
But she thought she did something with her little like high-heeled boots. Nope. Chelsea came strolling in.
And it's like, oh, you want to talk fashion, kid? Do we want to talk about fashion?
She's a runway model. Oh, that's right. You take pics of your mom's clothes on IG.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, and Chelsea too, runway model. She's like 6 foot something.
And you can just tell that she is sharp as a tack and that she is just like she's the cool person without having to try to be cool. You can just tell. She's just got a vibe and an energy about her where you're like, I want to sit next to her.
Yeah.
I want what she's having. She's
Pay
cool.
attention to me, Chelsea. I want to be cool.
Totally. Mari is also a little bitty.
Yes. And
She's kind of trouble though. You can tell.
well, Mari is the beauty queen.
Oh,
She's the beauty queen.
God, here we go again.
She posted on IG a photo with Alea. They're friends. Okay, so Alea and her, and there's going to be drama for sure.
I don't want to see another fucking beauty queen on my screen. I'm sick of all of them.
But Matt James could not contain himself with Mari.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just
he's like, oh my God, I follow like 6 different girls on Instagram who look just like you.
Yes, exactly. Maybe he even follows her.
For real.
And when she's walking away, I mean, he was just blatantly staring.
He's so nervous, but I mean, like, I have to give him credit. If I was one of the other girls, I would be shitting my pants if I walked into the room and saw all of them. I'd be like, holy fuck.
Oh, I know. I would just walk right back out. I would walk in and I'd walk right back out.
I thought I was hot shit.
Well, we had a good run, guys.
I tried.
No, but he was cracking me up because as Mari was walking away, he said audibly, loudly, like 100% she could hear. She was 3 steps away
like,
from him.
Damn, that's a fat ass, basically.
He literally was like, you ever meet someone and you just don't know what to say? That was that moment. And he said it out loud when she was
literally 3 steps up. And I'm like, oh, was this planned?
If you hear that and you're her, I mean, you're flying
You're
high
like,
on
let
that.
me shake those hips a little bit more as I
like,
walk away.
I am not concerned about the rose ceremony, okay? He said this audibly, all right? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Yes, he did.
And she also is getting eyed when she walks in. We see her as the first one that she walks into the room, and some of the other women are like, who's this? Who's this?
Who's this bitch?
Moggy then comes and she...
I noticed, I have to say this, I noticed a lot of girls did not do gimmicks.
No.
Like almost none. So a lot of my notes are just like, okay, this girl. Because it just wasn't...
No, it's really kind of like, yeah, we briefly see them for like 2 seconds. What did she do?
I mean, so many of the girls just did introductions.
She came... Oh, that was what it was. So she told him that she's like, I came all the way from Ethiopia just to meet you. And I was a little bit like, but not really though. And I was just laughing about when they...
Let's not forget she came and got her doctorate.
She's like, I came to meet you, but I also came to get my doctorate and also start this nonprofit and also become a model. So just so you know.
And you happen to fall in my path is
and if this happens to work, great. If not, I can find a million other...
suitors. Carolyn brought lavender from her mom's garden.
That was cute.
Sydney said he's the hottest guy she's ever seen. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, that's a bit of a stretch, honey. Hottest guy you've ever seen.
I mean, he's maybe in person.
Maybe.
Because he's very good looking. We fell for him.
His personality, but I mean, he's a good looking guy, but is Colton the hottest guy you've ever seen? Is Pete the hottest guy? Is Ben Higgins? No, none of these guys are the hottest guy I've ever seen.
True. Very true.
That's all I'm saying. Tyler Cameron, on the other hand.
Don't let him hear that. No, TC, you've been dethroned. Kristen throws out a lawyer pun. Anna, our wide-eyed queen, brings him a survival kit that, of course, is perfectly labeled. It's just dimed to perfection. Her energy is through the roof. She's just shaking walking up to him. And then I knew it. We knew it. Then Kayla pulls up in a pickup truck. Now, Kayla, again, if you listen to our cast bio episode, she in her photo had her head tilted. Evan was talking about how she seems like she'd be the person on the line being like, oh my God, like, how was your day? I'm in Washington. How about you? And she did not disappoint.
True. She showed up in that pickup truck from North Carolina. She is cute. She's got good energy, good personality.
She has the stick shift, and then she makes him feel comfortable.
He says that. He's like, right away we have that, like, we got something shared between us. So
it's such a great
one cannot
move.
underestimate that.
It's such a great move that she had him. It's literally like a perfect psychological move. Like, she had him remove himself from that platform that he's on to come check out the car. He's not like having to be stiff in front of it's like, okay, come, let's check out the car.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, well, is it a stick shift? And she's like, it's stick shift. Put some respect on my name.
That says a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm impressive to me. So, and they're very, very flirty, and definitely Kayla is one to watch as far as the long run, I believe.
What was I trying to say with Serena? I said Serena with the footstep?
Yes. So Serena C, there's two Serenas. Serena C trips right away. Like the first thing that she does is trip. And Serena, an expert move. There were two options, right? Either you trip and it's super uncomfortable and then you just kind of like mess up the rest of the entrance and everyone feels awkward.
And try to like pull it together in a way that's forced.
She tripped, starts dying laughing, then he's cracking up, and then she right away says, she's like, oh my God, 5 seconds in and I'm already tripping off you. And I'm like, ugh.
Wow.
Quick.
And then she got up on a little footstool.
That was the next Serena.
Oh. Okay, well, that's what I was talking about, I guess.
The two Serenas. Serena C trips, and then Serena P shows up, and she's the little 5'2", steps on the stool.
Cute, very cute.
Very cute, very energetic. Alicia just ballet.
Comes in dancing.
I wish I knew ballet terminology. I wish I could throw out those beautiful French, I think it's French words normally.
Pirouette.
Who
fucking knows?
I don't know.
Maybe he's intimidated by her ballerina prowess.
Yes. When we get to the rose ceremony.
Next, the goat feet.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I felt like I was in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it was Mr. Tumnus. I was like, please keep those at home.
I couldn't figure out what it reminded me. And it was
Mr. Tumnus.
Standing by the light post.
So fucking nightmarish. Like now thinking back on it in retrospect, a fucking little goat man waiting for you by like a lamppost. Why don't you come into my cave and have some tea? Yes, that's definitely what I'm harking back to.
Okay.
You're the goat, and here I have goat feet.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think we catch a brief moment where we hear her name where the other girls are talking. I believe it's pronounced Sani. But Sani walks up.
I thought it was Sane.
Sani.
There's a lot of girls, give us a break. Next week we'll get it
down.
down.
Well, no, they didn't. She didn't introduce her. We didn't hear her introduce herself. I just heard one of the women, like, kind of in a side conversation, I think said her name. But she, in her picture, is very cute. In person, I think maybe one of the most beautiful women there. Like, her face is just absolutely shocking. And so she walks up and is so bubbly and smiley and so stunningly beautiful, and she lifts up the dress to the horror,
to my nightmares,
horror of goat-hooved slippers. Like, I couldn't believe it.
I'll tell you what, I will take her entrance before Alana's Lady and the Tramp noodle thing. I hated that even more.
I 100% yes, but I couldn't get over. I was thinking about the goat feet. I'm going to forever think about the goat feet.
We had someone do noodles or spaghetti noodles and someone do a meatball. Very weird.
Yes, and it was a huge meatball,
yeah,
which
we'll
also made me want to
dry
heave. Oh, because it's my worst nightmare.
Like a softball-sized meatball.
No, I'm just thinking about the meatball has just been sitting out.
And she's holding it in her hand, dude. Like she has a meatball like in her pocket. A giant one that she pulls out. There's like fuzz on it. And she's like, have a bite of my balls.
So that thing has either been at room temp for a long time or it's been on ice to make sure that it doesn't go bad.
Either way, if it's on ice, it's like coagulated oils, like... Okay, back to Alana though. She comes in with the spaghetti noodles and is like, take the other end of this and then we'll kiss. Hated it.
and they slurp. You know, you and I don't do well with the food thing. And it's just the food thing, we're just no shade, but the food kink, not our deal.
No. Do you remember when Pete and Maddie ate like hot dogs and then made out? No, or Hannah Ann? I don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah.
One of the girls he got engaged to.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't have good memories of any of the Bachelor, like food.
It like just makes something bile rise in my throat.
Because
when
I also think
it.
about how long it's been sitting out because of production, and it makes me want to just pass. Like I can't.
You know, and kind of get like cramps under your chin, kind of right there, and you're just kind of like, this could go south.
Well, the women are not pleased at Alana's date because they're like, oh my God,
she kissed him.
She snagged the first kiss. But ladies, don't even worry. That's going to be very mild compared to Kylie's entrance, which in my opinion, that was like,
this is so smart.
If I could create a perfect entrance, it was that. That's such a great idea. Like,
I don't think I would be able to pull it off very well.
No, I wouldn't do it because I would just be like, I'd just be too, first of all, I'm just too nervous
you have
about
to
it.
like be really like you could tell she was a little bit nervous. You have to be like mega confident to fully pull it off.
Yes.
It's such a great concept though. Such a good concept.
So if you didn't watch it, Kylie walks up. You see her coming down the driveway in lingerie with a robe. And she's pulling a rolling rack, and there are two dresses on it. And the second I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, she's going to have him pick her dress. It's genius. Yeah. Which one do you want? And she's like, I don't even know who you are. Like, which dress would you like better?
Amazing.
Of course, he chooses the red dress. Mm-hmm. And I was dying, though, when the women are watching from above. Like, they're like, oh my God, that's ballsy. Like, she's just in her underwear. And Alana's like, at least she had a robe on.
Oh, yeah. Alana is funny. She's weird. I kind of like her.
I like Alana. She's just has her martinis, just like, at least she's got a robe, lady.
Like she's that weird random character in 60s movies, you know?
Totally.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
That's
the one that's
always
kind of drunk at the parties.
Yeah,
like
the one who's randomly smokes cigarettes is drunk
and
at the
makes
party.
a weird side comment.
That's always really impactful on the main character. And that's all you see. Yeah. Fully tracking with what you're saying.
Yeah, you're picking up what I'm putting down. He also stuttered when he's like, I'll see you inside. And I'm like, oh, Matt, you're
sweet.
He like, you know, he's one of those guys that's like trying to, like, he has to fight the urge because he like wants to be pure. And then he's just like, but I just want to have sex with women and see their butts. And he's like trying to fight that, you know, at every corner.
And we so thought that he was going to be such a party boy. I wonder if that's maybe not his deal as much.
I also think he is someone who is not image obsessed, but I believe that he is image conscious.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm sure that probably has to do with his racial identity. Yeah. I'm sure like he probably has to feel a lot of expectations, like being mixed and the stuff that he was talking about earlier. And so I don't know. I feel like he is not obsessed with his image like guys that we've seen in the past that are like conceited. I just think that he's aware of how he looks
totally
to people.
Yeah.
And so I think that he is trying to make the right decisions because he's aware of how things are going to look. Or he's trying to be aware of how things are going to look to people.
Yeah.
So that's where he gets kind of tripped up after he's talking to the girl in lingerie. You know, he's like, oh, I'll see you inside. I'm going to try not to look like a creep.
Yeah. No,
you know?
seriously.
Which is cute.
Okay, before we talk about Abigail, do you want to take a quick pause? All right, broads. Love Abigail. Also love this. Here's the thing. A few things became very essential for me in 2020 that I know I'm going to be carrying into 2021. And one of those things was using Thrive Market. I had seen it advertised before numerous times, but until I actually hopped onto their online marketplace, I had no idea the glory and the ease that awaited me.
Thrive Market is an online membership-based market, and they're on a mission to make healthy living easy and affordable for everyone. They have everything you could hope for at a health food store and then some. It's literally your new one-stop shop for everything from organic and essential groceries to clean beauty, supplements, home products, meat, clean wine, and so much more. And with each order, you'll get guaranteed savings on prices only available to members and they can really add up. I always keep my pantry well stocked with healthy snacks. And on my last order of snacks alone, I saved almost $35.
I save so much money using Thrive.
Yeah.
If you've been thinking about a Thrive Market membership for a while, this is your sign. Thrive Market now has 2 amazing membership options to choose from. You can get 1 month of membership for $9.95 or 12 months of membership for just $5 a month. As someone who uses Thrive Market almost weekly, this is fantastic news. And of course, Thrive's focus is sustainability. So every order over $49 is shipped for free with carbon neutral shipping, and each membership purchase sponsors a free one for a lower income family through their member matching program.
Go to thrivemarket.com/chatty, and when you join today, you'll get 25% off your first order and you'll get a free gift. That's THRIVE market.com/chatty, and to get 25% off your first order and a free gift, just go to thrivemarket.com/chatty.
Well, Broads, 2020 was the year of natural beauty and wellness, not by any official ruling or anything, but if you read any magazine, blog, website, social media posts in the past year, you just know it was. And honestly, thank God, because through those channels, I discovered my new favorite wellness brand, and that is Native. For so long, I've wanted to switch to a natural deodorant, but just had heard stories about them not working. And that's a big no thank you for me. I need my deodorant to work. But when I came across Native, it was a match made in heaven.
If you've been wanting to make the switch to a more natural wellness routine, Native Natural Deodorant is a great place to start. And right from the get-go, you'll find that their list of ingredients is made up of things you've actually heard of. Ingredients like coconut oil and shea butter, and none of their products are tested on animals, and their products are vegan too. So there's a good reason for Native's 16,000 5-star reviews.
That's a lot of 5-star reviews. Like I said, I've heard just horror stories about natural deodorants not working on BO or only working for a few hours. Not Native. From morning to night, Native keeps you smelling fresh and feeling clean. They even have more than 10 different scents to choose from, including the classics like coconut plus vanilla, citrus and herbal musk, lavender and rose, plus rotating seasonal favorites. And also, side note, with a lot of natural deodorants that I've used in the past, I tend to get more sweaty and wet under my armpits. And that's one of my favorite parts about Native. I stay dry under the pits all day.
Make the switch to Native today by going to nativedeo.com/chatty or use promo code chatty at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/chatty or use promo code chatty at checkout for 20% off your first order.
All right, well, back to Abigail. Abigail immediately tells Matt that she is deaf and that she's going to be reading his lips a lot, but luckily he has beautiful lips. It was such a cute conversation.
And
that's cute. When he tells her he's going to be enunciating well, which, like you said, maybe he didn't, but it was a nice thought.
It was sweet of him to consider.
Yeah, it was very sweet of him. Then we have Corinne. There was a few, Corinne, and then
girls could barely even write their names down.
Amani coming in, all beautiful. Like you said, there were a lot of wow entrances, not any gimmicks.
Piper and him have the same last name.
They do, and that was so cute when she said my dad always wanted me to keep my last name, and I'm just like, love your dad, by the way. I love that. Oh, quick side note. Also, Lauren is the other attorney other than Kristen. She is in high fashion couture, people, okay? She is in a high fashion couture. She looks like a Victoria's Secrets model, this woman, okay? And she is like a corporate attorney who's had her law degree, her law reviews published. I don't understand. I was just like, I'm gonna go, like I said, if I would have walked in, I would have walked straight out. Like, who are these people? Who are these women?
What?
And then pizza delivery car pulls up.
Oh my God. Love it.
I half expected Zach to pop out. I was just kind of waiting for a Zach and Tasha moment to be like, taxi! For a second, I thought it was a taxi, and I was like, well,
I love MJ. Mm-hmm. She's crazy hot, and I like that the car door didn't work. It made it really fun. It was like a moment to laugh, and she didn't take herself super seriously, which I always love.
I like that about her. She seems like she's super low key.
Always appreciate that on someone. She was like, oh, whatever. This is just part of the fun and the silliness, and I'm sure that kind of thing put him at ease too. And then finally we get the Katie with the vibrator moment. I gotta say, I like Katie. I love Katie.
I love Katie.
She's such a Katie.
Katie is such a Katie. Katie is that person who's going to drive me absolutely up a wall. Like, on this show, she's just going to make me like, she'd make me nuts.
Is she an Alea kind of?
Well, no, because I feel like Katie is like the one in a group project who has studied for the past month. She knows everything about the syllabus, but like, she's like super smart. But then she does all the work for the group, but then like makes you feel bad about, I don't know. She just gives me that energy.
She gives me the vibe that she's like a really good student. And then when you go out, you're like, oh, let's get Katie drunk. And then ends up being a bad idea. Cause then she's like,
she's the
really drunk. And she's trying to hang on every guy at the club. And you're like, Katie, we're gonna go over here now, and you're just like, oh my
and you have to just
like I regret
watch
everything about this. Yeah, and she's like, no, I don't want to go, and you're just like, oh my god, this is not what I signed up for tonight, and you're like forced into being sober because you got to take care of her.
Yes. So she's gonna make me nuts during the season, but I like her. I think she's really funny.
She is, and she's nice. He said it looked like a lightsaber, which cracked me up.
And then she puts it on the table and is like, maybe I'll call it MJ. And then MJ's like, oh God.
Why did she say MJ?
Matt James.
Oh. MJ's like, that's my name.
She's like, so please. But then
I would be like, what an honor. Yes, name your vibrator, Bekah. What?
But that's what then MJ, that's why I liked MJ so much. Then she ended up saying that. She's like, oh, please, what an honor. Like, then she ended up playing along with it. It was cute.
Mm-hmm. That's cute.
Amber, who's the single mom, the hot blonde single mom, we don't see her like at all. We just see that she kind of comes up on a bike. And then we have Kimberly, who again, this is only going to be relevant if you listen to our cast bio episode with Evan and Grayson. But Kimberly, we were talking about, she, I believe, is in like management, but we're like, oh, she looks like she could be like a dolphin trainer. And then Gray made a comment that it looks like she could be in a wetsuit throwing fish at something. And Kimberly hops out of her car and throws a giant fish at Matt.
Very bizarre.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Also, he doesn't catch it.
No, and he's like, it's heavy. He's sort of just like, why did you throw this at me?
And by the way, we never get context because we never hear her like, I thought I'd be a great catch, which of course is probably what she said, but we didn't actually hear it. So all we see is her
threw a fish like he was the dolphin,
throwing like a giant marlin or whatever at him, and then she has it on the table like the whole rest of the night.
Well, okay, then we have Alana saying, can I put my balls in your mouth? And then it's meatballs. It's a nightmare for so many reasons. We already went over how disgusting that is. And it's just also like, I don't like that kind of humor. I'm so above that.
It's so beyond.
I'm like, ew. I'd rather put real balls in my mouth than your nasty ass fucking softball sized meatballs that have been lukewarm for 6 hours.
Put those real balls all over my eyes. You know how I do. Like, do not put your meatball in my mouth.
If you know, you know. Well, my girl Kit pulls up in her stupid fucking Bentley. I can't wait to be so aggressively mean about her throughout this entire season. I'm maintaining it. I'm committing to it. Being her biggest hater.
When that Bentley pulled up, Bekah, I was screaming at the television. I'm like, if this isn't Kit, and of course it was Kit, and then what just took it above and beyond is the unbelievably like belittling / overprivileged comment she made about why she had her own car.
She's like, ew, the limo felt like ride share. I'm like, oh, you're saying too good for Uber, bitch? Who the fuck are you? Kendall Jenner takes a fucking Uber. Who the fuck are you?
But beyond even that, the limo felt like ride share. So you're even having a luxury vehicle. She's saying like an Uber.
No, it's because she's saying she was sharing it with other girls.
No, I know, but I'm saying it's like it's one thing to take an Uber ride share, and her being belittling about that is rude. But then on top of that, you're going to be like, you're saying that and it involves a limo?
No, she's just she thinks it's cute to be like how rich she is or whatever, I guess. I don't fucking know. She's trying too hard. It's making me pissed off. She says KIT stands for keep in touch. And I'm like,
does it really?
Who uses that in text? KIT XOXO. What? I've never heard of that.
She also like we said, is wearing the feather dress of my nightmares, and it is confirmed Cynthia Rowley latest season dress.
That dress in particular looks like something I would have worn in 2011 to prom and been like, this is edgy.
Yes, completely. And also, broads, if you don't know, if you didn't listen to our last episode, she is the daughter of famous fashion designer Cynthia Rowley.
When we were going through, I was combing through her Instagram, and I gotta say, a lot of Cynthia Rowley's latest looks are very cute. So I'm not hating, but this dress, I was like, I see what you're trying to do. And sorry, Chelsea knocked it out of the park, sweetie. Nice try, fashion designer.
Chelsea, Lauren, Brie.
Woo, woo, woo. Although Matt James did say he liked that she was wearing. He was like, I won't forget you or whatever.
That is true, and that is a move. If you have a dress that really stands out, you're not going to be forgotten.
Yeah, better to have a personality that stands out, though. I'm going to go a little bit too hard, and like, I'm just going to apologize in advance for the season. I'm going to go like, I'm going to be just as if we have some sort of personal feud with each other.
You guys probably will after this.
I'm sure you... Yes, probably.
You and the Rowleys won't be doing very well. You won't be invited to the family weddings.
I should hit her up for gifting. Hey, DM Cynthia Rowley's Instagram. Hey, do you guys do gifting?
Quick question.
I'm sure she's fine. Don't have any beef with her family. Really, truly don't give a shit. But what she represents for me, it's not Kit. What she represents to me is someone who the only thing they have going for them is like how wealthy they are and their social status and the people they know and the clothes they wear and the way they look. Mm-hmm. And I just don't like that attitude in life. It's kind of like the Bennett thing where like, oh, wait, no, you're just like an average, like you're like slightly more than average, attractive, boring white person who came into a certain family, and that's why you're at where you're at. Yeah, and you are constantly weaponizing that and swinging it around as if it's something to be proud of, even though you didn't do shit to get there. I
think my biggest issue in this situation is that it's like, obviously you can't if she was raised with in a very wealthy family with fashion designer mother Cynthia, that's just part of her life. But when you come rolling in a Bentley, make a slight comment about rideshare, and then it's like, I'm the king and the president. Like, it's like, okay,
I'm the king and the CEO. No. It's like, ew, like, shut the fuck up. And this is the thing. Like, we live in LA. Like, you, me, like we know people who are like big people or children of celebrities, and there are plenty of people who are like, oh yeah, I don't want people to know that my dad is
they're super low
Steven
key.
Spielberg or whatever. And she's not like, I'm Steven Spielberg.
No, she's very low key.
It's like, bro, okay, just because you're like born into wealth and fame doesn't mean you have to act like you're the fucking Queen of Versailles. Shut the fuck up. Take a seat.
Well, she says that she loves being the center of attention, and then not to be outdone.
Okay, sorry, I have to go off a little bit more.
No, please go off.
It's like one thing for it to be a shtick, and like I feel like you and I always like pretend like we think we're better than other people, but like when we actually interact with people,
that's a joke.
Yeah, when we actually interact with people, we don't act like we think we're better than people. We don't actually think we're better than people.
Never in real life. Also, in general, I'm often just plagued with the concept that there are so many people who are so much better than me in many ways on a regular basis.
I'm crippled by it.
In fact, if anything, when it comes to the podcast, it's like on a regular basis. I like am finding out all this information. We'll get DMs from the broads being like, well, actually, and I'm like, oh my God, everyone's so much smarter than me.
But
Margalo.
Okay, that was funny though.
Yeah, but
that's charming. No, so my point is like
that was cute.
There's something about like the way that she comes off where she's like, I'm the king and CEO. It like also wasn't like a natural funny thing. It's sort of this, I sense in her this like forced confidence, where it seems like she's actually really insecure and trying to overcompensate with these things that have nothing to do with her actual personality or who she is as a person.
Yeah.
Like part of her personality is being born and raised in New York. That's not part of your personality, bitch. That's where you're from. Or being rich. That's not a person.
Yeah.
That's not a personality
the
trait.
personality, the being no.
Being a designer's daughter is not a personality
York,
trait.
You know, again, it's like if you, I love someone who's real New York.
Yeah, but you don't have to you don't have to flex it.
Yeah.
Like there are other girls that are from New York not being like, I brought a New York snow globe because I'm from New York and I want you to like, shut up. She's just so irritating to me. God damn. Okay, sorry, I'm done. All right. Anyway, now let's get to how he made everyone pray.
No. Oh my gosh, Bekah. We are missing a major piece because you are feeling very impassioned by
No. I accidentally scrolled down. My bad.
Very impassioned by Kit. We have our final entrance.
Our Queen Victoria.
She said, "Oh, Kit, honey,
this bitch is ridiculous.
I'm gonna have 4 men masked carry me in. I could not."
She's delusional. She's ridiculous.
Covered in sequins. She has a tiara on. She has a crown for Matt James. If you watch SNL, she is Cecily Strong, the character that Cecily Strong does. That's the drunk girl at every party that lectures people and just is slurring everything.
Yes, that's the thing about her. She kind of just seems like she's drunk all the time, even though she's probably not actually drunk.
She seems. I don't know why.
She
seemed a little intoxicated to me. I'm not sure. But I mean, when she came in and she was just like, here's the crown. And then she falls. And then he's in this awkward, like trying to be a gentleman.
Like, oh, yeah, I know. He's like, you good?
And she's just like from her ass on the ground. I'm okay.
She says, I'm so confident, so fun right before, she falls on her ass.
And then she walks in, and of course, she's
who else can who else can eat shit on the stairs and then walk in and be like, I'm the fucking queen?
I mean, the truth is, I do envy her confidence a little bit.
I mean, I guess if I was like 4 drinks deep, I'd probably do the same shit. I'd be like, it's part of my charm that I fucking fall over shit.
I'm good. I'm here, bitches. Bow down, honey. And that's then when Kit is legit triggered, and Kit is just like, I thought there would be competition, but like, no, you can be the queen, but I am the president, I am the king, I am the CEO. She locks into this line and she's like, oh, this is gold. And she continues to say it the rest of the episode. And I will tell you this, when she is on Paradise, you know her intro will be something about her being the king, the CEO, and the president. You know it's going to happen. That'll probably be her Instagram tagline in about 3 weeks. I'm just saying.
What's her Instagram tagline right now?
I don't know.
I can't even look because it's too painful.
It's just too much.
It's too much for me now. I'm getting a fucking migraine. I mean, like, can't you... Isn't it kind of funny though? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, wouldn't you like, if you saw someone like that come in, wouldn't you like crack up?
I mean, sorry, Queen Victoria, but if I'm one of the women there, I'm like, obviously Matt James is not picking her.
Yeah. I'd be obsessed with her. I'd be like, ooh, I will be your follower, queen.
I'd be like, what is your Instagram handle?
Can I get you another glass of wine?
Let's connect after the show is over.
Let's link and build, queen.
Let's link and build. Do you want to like maybe, what are your thoughts on skinny dipping in the fountain? It's very cold outside.
No,
like,
you do it and I'll film.
Yes, we're going to do a photo shoot. We're going to have like a Kris Jenner, Kardashian. We're going to do a whole thing. No, I would be obsessed with her too because you're like, this isn't competition. This
you're
is
like,
just
we might as well have fucking fun, right?
You know what it's like? It's like if you're auditioning for American Idol and right before, like, you go and you're like, I'm a pretty good singer and I did a good job, and the person next to you goes and they're horrible. And it's terrible. And then they give them a pass and they go, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like, what are you going to be like? I'm Celine Dion.
No, it's like, you know that they're put on the show to be the funny, embarrassing audition.
Yeah, so you laugh along with it and you do a duet.
Yeah, and then you're friends with them. But like, to be upset about Victoria, it's just like, dude, like,
okay,
she clearly,
you're insecure then if you're threatened by her.
Just don't. Well, Katie is like so sorority president vibes. She is like making a toast with the women. She's taking it upon herself, taking the dildo and clanking it against the champagne glass, and it's just like, let's have fun here, ladies. Let's make friends. Let's have a good time.
I like her. Okay, Matt comes in and now he makes everyone pray.
He does.
And he has a nice little speech. I like his little speeches.
You know what? As much as when he asked everyone to pray, my ass was just like, all I could think about was like the atheist in the room being like, I didn't sign up for this.
Be like, no, I do not consent. Separation of Bachelor and church.
Just keeping their eyes just open in the background.
Separation of church and rose.
But I did notice that when I was looking over a lot of the Instagram handles of these women, lots of Bible verses in the handles. So I'm assuming Matt James let the casting know that being a Christian is very important to him.
I would have weaponized my Christian upbringing like nobody's business.
Oh my God.
I would be like begets like and such,
I would have been like, honey, I'm here to be your Proverbs 31 woman.
I would have been like a rose trampled on the ground, you took the fall and thought of me above all. And I'd be like, so that really symbolizes this journey, crucified.
Everyone who wasn't raised in a Christian church right now, all the broads who weren't raised in church are like, what did they just sing?
Fucking cult?
Is this a Bachelor theme song that we don't know of?
No,
it's
just
a
Jesus
worship
theme
song. The women are swooning, but I will say, it was another moment of like, he is new to this.
And he's bringing him to the experience. And that's what I appreciate about him in this first episode is we see him just being himself.
Yeah, he loves the Lord and he wants to pray. He also was on a football team and they, of course, always huddle around. They always have their game time prayer before they go out on the field and such. And, but, I will say, I was like, oh, he is like proper. He like threw and called according to your purpose in his prayer. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, he's like proper, like, church-going Christian boy.
Which sends Rachel into a fake crying tizzy.
Rachel is crying, which my favorite part of this was when one of the women asked her after, like, oh, you're super religious? And she's just like, no, it just really touched me in a certain way.
No.
Like,
she said yes. She actually said yes. She was like, yeah, but it was just touched me.
Oh, I thought the way that, maybe it was the way she said it that I was like, it didn't sound like she was like, super.
Yeah, but...
Oh, maybe she was not wanting to get into her upbringing or whatever. But
also like, the girl, the way that the other girl, I don't know who asked it, was being that other girl, being like, "Oh, are you crying because you're religious?" It's like this is dumb. Shut up, like. She's having a moment. She's like, "Oh, are you religious?" It's like
I probably would ask because I'd be like, "Honey, why are you crying? It's been 15 minutes. Is that why?" I would
literally, the girl's like, "Oh, it's sweet." I literally would have walked the other way. I've been like, "Oh, really? You're tearing up? Okay, bye. I need another drink for this shit."
Where's Queen Victoria? We're gonna go get her hammered.
MJ, let's talk some shit.
Exactly.
I feel like MJ would be down to talk shit with me. That's why I like her.
I feel like we're going to see MJ not being part of the drama, but always like being like in the fun crew that is talking shit.
Like I'd be with MJ and be like, this is kind of a joke, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be me and you a final two at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Always send a wink over to MJ when there's like serious
She's like, dude, Jess keeps winking at me.
She's like, I'm not sure why.
Okay, so...
Oh, so by the way, so then everyone disperses. We don't have someone who says, can I?
There was a lot of format of this that no one stole him first. We didn't really even have a villain of the night. I mean, like, I guess Victoria, but not really. There wasn't even any drama. There wasn't Victoria stole him a couple times.
She was a villain, but it was like, again, the ridiculous villainry.
It was light.
Yeah.
So Sarah is first talking to him.
Yes.
And, Sarah, along with all the other girls, like we were saying earlier, all they have to say about him is that he's hot.
Yeah. And by the way, you know what I loved after their conversation is that he was like, Sarah's great. She's super beautiful. But I just felt like I was a robot talking to her because I'm so nervous. And I was like, we love a self-aware king. Because I was watching the conversation. I was like, oh, this is kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah. He was so anxious.
So nervous. So I love that he was like he was acknowledging the nervousness and that he's not just trying to act like he's like calm, cool, and collected and he's got this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That makes it way more cringy and worse, right? When someone's just trying to play it off.
He could be like, I've partied with the Hadids and the Jenners. Like, this is no problem. Like, who are you ladies, please? And he's nervous and he acknowledges his nervousness.
Rachel?
Yeah, there's a couple, Alana and Matt. She reminds me of Kat Dennings. Kristen and Matt. She talks about him being the first Black Bachelor and I love too that he has the conversation with her where he's like, I can only talk about what I've experienced. That sounded so funny in the. It sounds like you're ripping a bong.
Okay, sorry. It literally sounds like a bubbler. You're right. Sorry. Anyway, back to what you're saying. Serious conversation.
And then there's Rachel and Matt, like you said.
Well, they're gonna go far. I wrote that.
Yeah, he likes her. And she brings up that she always has her guard up. So they're going to have that thing. Now,
Rachel's just like, I don't hate her, but she's just kind of, it's a light eye roll for me. I'm like, nah, okay.
we see in the previews for the future, Matt crying, sitting on a stoop with Chris Harrison. And he's just like, are you okay, Matt? Whatever. He's like, I don't know. And then he makes some comment about like, I knew one of my problems was going to be having my guard up. But now I'm wondering, I'm like, oh, does Rachel take off? And she's like in his tops and he's devastated because she
Maddie
leaves.
situation. God, no.
I have a feeling that we're going to see that from Rachel.
God,
and he's
no.
devastated.
See, this is why I'm already irritated with her. I'm like, sure, you're a nice girl and all, but please. Make room for the other ladies. Thank
Come
you.
on.
Not interested in someone building up to the end to leave or to announce that they're a virgin or whatever. I'm bored, okay? I have places to be. Okay.
Next, we have Serena P, who takes the first steal. Yes, Serena, to go play chess.
He says he's in chess club and then he doesn't know how to play.
I know. He probably was signed up for it. Like,
liar?
is he a liar? Is this a breadcrumb?
She's like, I love how she's just like, are you allowed to do that?
Yeah,
And he's
she's like,
I don't know. She's like, okay.
When she was bending down by the chess pieces, all I could think about was Ivan. I was like, Serena P and Ivan.
Oh.
They could just play chess together and be so cute together.
Love that.
Just a thought. We hear Kayla talking, by the way. I'm obsessed with Kayla. She is by far one of my favorite. We hear her like, Matt isn't a snack. He's a 5-course meal. He's the appetizer, gazpacho, the little soup thing. Like, she is cracking me up. She's so much fun. And then we see a brief moment of Amanda, who's the single mom. And she's just like, I'm so hungry. That's like one of the few things that we hear her say.
Sad.
And then Mari. We hear Mari talk about that she's worried about Matt not being able to talk with Matt. I noticed in this interview, all of her lipstick is gone. So I was assuming she was probably going to be the first smooch. I was like, oh, have they been making out? Because like most of her makeup and lipstick was gone, but it didn't look like from drinking. It looked like from kissing.
In the interview?
Uh-huh.
It was probably just like a pickup interview from like weeks later.
Yeah, maybe.
That's usually when the makeup is off. That's usually why.
It was like a super late night, like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
That when you've talked about those late night interviews, gives me massive anxiety thinking about.
Awful. They're like, okay, go get on your night one dress and makeup and hair. And you're like, please, no. Can I just go to bed? That's literally, it's like, can I please, like, these are conversations like,
please.
I remember being like, Todd, I'm so tired. Like, can I please go to sleep? And it's like, no. Do you want to get a spot on Paradise? No, it wasn't that like that. But it was just like, okay.
Oh
Crying.
my God. We have then Mari pull Matt aside. She has a boarding pass and she wants him to know about where she's from. She's from Puerto Rico. And Matt, an aware king, immediately asks her, like, how's your family doing? Like, with everything going on with the hurricanes and just checking in. And I'm like, oh my God, he knows about the world.
When he first said it, I thought he was really trying to pass off that he knew something about Puerto Rico. And I was like,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I know. He's like, so how's your family over there and that? And I'm like, oh my God, is he just assuming that like Puerto Rico's a poor country? Like,
yeah, I was like, what is he about to say?
Yeah, and then he brought up something specific. I was like, wow, I had no idea they had hurricanes in Puerto Rico. Shows how much I know and care.
Yeah, and she right away was just like, thank you so much for asking. Like,
right?
That probably meant a lot to her that like
right?
he's just like checking in to make sure her family's doing okay.
Good work, Matt.
Nice work, Matt. Well, she's interrupted by a tap of a dildo on her shoulder, and
poor Katie got sent
off.
in right when she was in the middle of talking about her family in Puerto Rico.
I know, which, by the way, quick reminder to everyone listening, of course they're going to try to make it seem like Katie's just like invading and doing that. No, she was sent in specifically at that point, and
literally
the producers
at that moment
told her, like, it would be so funny. Your dildo is hilarious. Your vibrator is hilarious. You should definitely like.
Yeah, it seems like they're wrapping up the conversation. Just go in, tap her on the shoulder. That would be hilarious.
So funny. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
And then Mari did not like being tapped on the shoulder with the vibrator.
Katie was cracking me up though with the way she handled it. She was like, "Hey, you know, like if she's my roommate, I'll totally let her borrow it." And I was fucking dying at that.
She's just like, she seems like she needs it.
She's unwind a little
I'm gonna
bit.
give it to her. And Mari then goes basically to every single girl.
She just tapped me out on the shoulder with the dildo, basically.
And every single person, it was going well until I got tapped on the shoulder with a dildo over and over. I think you heard her say it maybe 7 times. I was like, oh God, here we go. Here the small drama begins.
Yep.
I was dying too, and Katie goes, well, it was never on my bucket list to boop a pageant queen on the shoulder with a dildo. Am I happy about it? Absolutely. And she already knows that Mari's a pageant queen. So Mari's probably she's told the people already that she was like, I think she was like Miss USA or something. It was or Miss Puerto Rico. It was something. It was a big title.
Well, a better move than tapping someone on the shoulder with a dildo in the middle of them talking about their family in Puerto Rico is bringing Matt out to a back of the truck picnic. Kayla knocks it out of the park with that one.
A move, and they toast with sweet tea. And yeah, I mean, Kayla had probably some of the most, if I was Matt James, I would probably be like, these are some of the most memorable moments with you with Kayla, for sure. Yes. If she doesn't go far, I'm going to be pissed. Then we see that Kit interrupts. Piper's talking to Matt, and then she sits on the steps with Matt, and she brings him a snow globe of her beloved city, New York. Bekah is not pleased.
I just need to stop talking because like I'm going way too hard in the paint against her, and it's like not okay because it's really unwarranted. Not in my brain, but probably for the rest of the world.
Unwarranted to me.
No, it's perfectly deserved in my brain, but everyone else is going to be like, why the fuck are you so obsessed with her? So I got to cool it.
Well, Queen Victoria decides to interrupt her, and her entrance, excuse me, princess, but the queen is here.
And that sets off Kit.
Oh.
Princess?
Now, do you know what I was thinking about? I'm like, I bet that word is a trigger word to Kit because as she's been called princess her whole life because she's a New York socialite. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And she hears that word and it's just like,
I'm not spoiled. I'm a CEO because my parents are wealthy and privileged.
I'm not a princess. I'm a CEO. I'm a president. I'm a king. And you're like,
okay,
if someone calls me princess, I'm just like, how do you do? Thanks.
Real recognize real.
Appreciate ya. I'd rather be a princess than a queen, honey. Okay, we know how those fairy tales
responsibility.
The romance, it never revolves around the queen. It always revolves around the princess.
Boring old shit.
Yeah, I will happily be the princess.
At least I'm royalty, right? Mm-hmm. Better than being a peasant.
Yeah, exactly, right? Come on, Kit. Well, Queen.
Now everyone's clowning on Queen.
Everyone's clowning on Queen. Well, Queen is like, when she's talking to Matt, she is slurping this Aperol Spritz, which I, of course, noticed, Aperol Spritz. And he then throws out the term drinking through a fire hose. And she's just like, with her Spritz, just like, you're so funny. Is that Southern or something? And I was waiting for her because we know that she's from New York, lives in LA. And she's just like, ugh, yuck. I only know the coasts. Is that some weird Southern expression? And then he tries to, sweet Matt tries to explain it to her. And then she's just like, well, I'm the best fire hose and I'll make a great drink for you. And the world is like, huh?
Dude, what was killing me is all the lines she was giving to the girls. What was the first one? I didn't write it down.
They were incredible. I have to give her that.
What was the first one? The second one, I know she said to the girl who did marketing, she goes, well, why don't you just go market yourself to Matt?
It was Sydney, and Sydney was just like, okay.
Who was the first girl? Do you remember?
She sits down with Kit, and she's doing it to single mom Amber. I keep calling her Amanda.
Yes.
Single mom Amber. And she's just like, yeah, I haven't had one-on-one time yet. And that's when she's like, well, you'll have to get some sneakers on and run. And that's when Amber's just like, I'll Peloton. Reference. And then she is forcing her. She's just like, go
throw on some sneakers, some running shoes.
Go take initiative. Go do it now. I thought she was going to literally grab her arm and make her go to a bedroom and throw sneakers on. Like, it was so intense.
Then with Sydney, she says at the marketing girl thing, she then cuts her an interview and she's like, they're all idiots.
And then she's talking to one of the other girls and she's just like, well, I was planning on seeing Matt again, but these stupid bitches just won't go talk to him. So like, what am I going to do? Am I going to be the nice girl and wait for them? They're not taking initiative. The queen has arrived.
God, she's crazy.
She's wild.
Like, she's just fucking out there,
I
bitch.
would love to hear stories of friends or like people who have actually come in contact with her in real life.
No, I already know this girl too.
Like,
it's another drunk out situation where you're like, but she would be the one that gets like, you know, Katie's the one that's like, no, I like found my husband here.
He's here.
And then Victoria is the one who gets aggressive, you know, where she's like, no. And all deep breathing like a toddler. Oh, you think you're Miss Smarty? You're smart. Why don't you go be smart over there?
You have a law degree? Well, let me tell you about all my fucking lawsuits. I'll sue your ass if you don't get me another drink.
Yeah. And you get me an Uber and Uber Lux. And then she storms off into a very dangerous neighborhood, you know, and you're like, no. She's like, blah, knocking into trash cans and shit, carrying her shoes.
Oh, I would love to find
and
the
you're like,
Uber
no.
diaries.
And then you're like, fuck, I got it. Like, this is literally, I'm worried for her safety. So I have, again, you take on that role. You're like,
I have to help Victoria.
I was having a good night. And now this, Katie is sort of like, whatever. Victoria gets aggressive and puts herself in dangerous
Victoria
situations.
has no real friends. She just has good people who are concerned for her safety, who feel obligated to follow her around.
Or just like really weak, insecure people who actually view her as the queen.
Oh, I like literally think she's actually royalty.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to get the Uber diaries from people who have driven Victoria
she's one of those
around.
girls that are like, I just met these 5 guys and they live in a mansion. We're going with them. And you're like, no, stop.
My Uber,
she's like, you're just jealous because boys like me more than you. And you're like, no, stop.
My Uber rating is 1 because I'm number 1. That's a good thing, right?
I always come first. And she's doing this like blinking all slow.
Oh
slow my blinks. God. All right. Anyway.
Well, Chris Harrison brings out the first impression rose, and Queen Victoria ends up stealing Matt again. She gives him a bracelet. Matt is being sweet, and he's just like, well, you've set the tone for everyone since you're a queen. He's just trying to like,
I know, he's
placate this girl.
So sweet.
Yeah.
He knows he's gonna have to keep her around for a couple more episodes. His producer's forcing him, so he's like,
the producers
butter her up. Don't get on her bad side.
They force that final rose for her. Let's see. Then there's, one of my favorite moments was Kylie is talking. It was a sequence. Kylie is talking to Matt, and she's just like, so what's your favorite animal? And Matt's like, panda, because they're happy. And then it cuts to Matt being like, the night is flying by. It's just like these deep conversations, just like, what's your favorite animal? Just like a panda, they're happy.
Well, he does have a deep conversation, speaking of, though, with Bree.
Yes, he does.
And they talk about race and love and life and all that shit.
We also find out that Bree, her mom is Persian and her dad is black, and they separated before she was born, raised by her single mother. So of course they have that
bonding moment.
And that's it. That I'm sure that's an incredibly huge thing to have in common, and that's obviously something that's a big part of Matt's story that he talked about. So I would imagine she's going to go quite far. And then at this point I'm like, Matt has not kissed a single person minus Alana's forced spaghetti kiss.
Well. Abigail conversation.
Yes.
He's doing a terrible job of enunciating, I did notice, but he tried. She talks about how both she and her sister are deaf. Mm-hmm. I actually knew a pair of sisters at my church. It was a similar situation. Older sister, younger sister, they were both deaf. And I imagine it's way like, not like it's easy, but it's cool when you have someone in your family who, like she said, paved the way. And it's like people who understand exactly what your experience is.
I thought it was so great that she I don't know, just like I imagined her sister watching it at home and Abigail being like, my sister just made it so much better and easier for me. And just that like sweet sister that I'm sure is just like a bond 10 times stronger because of her just feeling so much love for her older sister.
Yeah.
And then they pause and they are just looking. I mean, they're the flirty energy is on 100.
I mean, yeah, Gray said from the top, he was like, when he saw them, he was like, oh, he is really into her. And you could tell.
Mean, she is.
You could really tell.
Abigail is.
She's got similar Rachel energy, but like, or Rachel look, I mean. But I like her a lot better.
Me too. Well, Abigail she's playful. She's like adorable. She's stunning. She is also like the whole Rachel thing, like, oh, I could take her home to my mom type vibe. But I don't know, just right out the gate, even when the fact that she just immediately had the conversation with Matt about being deaf. He talks about having a hard time being vulnerable. Like she's right away having these like vulnerable conversations with him. And he probably feels like a level of, oh, we can have these like open conversations. She feels like a safe place.
Yes, this is why Abigail, there is not a single manipulative bone in her body. No. Or strategic.
No.
That is not her game at all. And because of that, you can tell that she's just like you said, a safe and kind person. And Matt's not going to have any doubts with her about like why she's there or what her intentions are. She's the real deal. She's just a cool, down to earth girl.
Yep.
Who is there to make friends.
I love her.
Yeah, me too. Well, they get that first kiss, honey. They get that first kiss.
And that was a first kiss.
That was
a first makeout. And then, my favorite part of the entire episode was then we're like, oh, he's going.
Technically, it's not the first kiss. We have Noodle Girl.
Yeah, that was like a forced spaghetti kiss.
It was a kiss, though.
True.
It was an actual kiss. It was more than even just a peck.
Yeah, it was a little more. I don't know.
I didn't like it.
I give it to Abigail.
Yeah.
But I love that when he goes off and he's looking for the first impression rose and he's going throughout the rooms and all the women are like gasping every time he goes back around the corner. And I had no idea that he was bringing it back to Abigail and he had her wait there. And then he brings her back that rose and he was feeling it clearly that he's like, wait here, goes and like gets in numerous rooms and is like, you stay there. I'm coming back.
Yep. First impression rose, first kiss, boom, bada bing, bada boom. I love it. I think that Abigail is somewhere along the road going to get absolutely heartbroken.
Oh no. You don't think she's going to be his final?
I think it is going to be a devastating breakup. Oh, God. America will cry, weep with her. And we will mourn with her and he will probably mourn too.
I'll tell you this right now. This is going to be a tough season for me because I can already, even night one, we're seeing after the rose ceremony, women I didn't even get to know who I found myself attached to already just looking over the cast bios when we did that episode. This is going to be a hard season for me with goodbyes. There's a few people that I'm like, hey, why isn't Victoria gone? Obviously producers. This is going to be a rough season where I feel like we're going to fall in love with a lot of the women.
Time to say goodbye.
Bring Celine Dion in.
Speaking of which, okay, we have more of Queen V being fucking ridiculous.
Oh gosh, just the drama. It's just nonstop.
It's boring to me, quite frankly. The drama with her is boring.
I wonder
I don't care.
if she's typical night one villain, that the wildness of Victoria will subside. Fast. And what if she ends up just kind of being like this, like a cool, down to earth girl? She hangs around
to like week 6.
And she just like kind of is everybody's friend and she like gives good drunk advice. She's like, nah, you should just go talk to him. She like all like suddenly gets really low key and they're like,
what do you do again? You're a lawyer? Okay, why don't you argue, defend his love? Go prosecute that rose. And everyone's like, what?
Well, she doesn't make any sense. But she's nice. Well,
anyway,
rose ceremony.
Let's get on with it.
So the first rose is for Brie.
Brie gets first rose. Solid.
Second
rose
is to Rachel. Not surprised.
Yep. Third rose to Chelsea.
I believe, the third is for Chelsea. Love that. And then Sarah, I believe, is the fourth. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I started losing count.
Me too. MJ actually, I believe, went next. Can't
Well-
remember. Somebody might have got lost in the mix. Whatever.
We continue to get the roses, and our final rose. Okay, we have to talk about the moment with Anna where she is so devastated.
Up Alana and Anna.
Yeah, and I thought it was Alana. Maybe I've been getting it wrong this whole time.
I don't think he knows.
He just says maybe it is Alana. He just says, or it is Alana. He just says Alana, and then Anna's like, oh, that was so
wait,
painful.
was it me?
And then she just wants a rose so desperately. She's just like, I didn't really get to talk to him, but this is my FaceTime right now.
She's trying to telepathily connect.
Yeah,
with
she's
him.
just, her eyes are as big as she's just like, look into my eyes.
The eyes are the window to the soul, so they say. Oh man.
At least that's the poster over my bed. That's what that says.
Well,
He ends up giving her a rose, though.
she gets a rose. Final rose ends up going to Victoria, and that is where we do have to say goodbye. Okay, honestly, the girls getting sent home did not get any screen time except for Alicia. I don't even know what the other girls' names were. I couldn't list it off to you who goes home. Sorry.
I don't even know. I'll be real with you. I don't know for sure who. If I have some of their names, and I feel like there's more than this, but I don't know if I caught them. So it's Alicia, our ballerina, I'm devastated, Kimberly, Corinne, Imani, Carolyn, and I thought also Amber, but I didn't see, I don't know. And then it also looked like
girls who were
Sane might have, but I think she's still there. But for sure, Alicia, Kimberly, Corinne, Imani, and Carolyn, I believe.
Well,
but
tragic.
Okay, so then, but this is before we leave you, broads. We are left with a teaser of Matt James's the rest of his season, and there is quite a twist coming for us, because I don't know if you recall in our cast bio episode, at one point Bekah was looking at the Cosmo list of girls versus the ABC, and she's like, there's a bunch of extra girls on here.
Yeah.
Well, turns out it looks like more women are going to be showing up, not in the next episode, numerous weeks down the road, and people are panicking. Okay. We see lots of tears. And then we see that, what's her face? I always forget her name. My goodness. Hannah Brown's friend. Heather from Colton season shows up.
Make an appearance.
So, I mean, there's going to be, we love, thank you producers. We only get the chateau.
I was gonna say it's definitely a way to shake things up.
It's definitely a Love Island move to all of a sudden a couple weeks in be like, here are 5 more women.
And let me tell you,
more.
a lot of things would not faze me too much. Getting new girls in.
Oh no, I'm out. I would be like, I'm leaving.
Because also, like, only 2 weeks in, you haven't even gotten that much time with him because there's so many other women. So, like, they still got a fair shot, the new girls coming in.
What if it's like 4 weeks in?
Then that sucks to be one of the new girls. I would be insecure being one of the girls who's already there, but I would be insecure as shit. Which is worse? Being the girl, which is worse? Being the girl that comes in later?
They're both equally bad. I wouldn't want, it just, both situations to me suck, because as one of the girls that's already there, you're frustrated.
You also,
and then one of the girls who shows up, I would be insecure.
And you don't want to be ostracized from the other women.
Yeah. And you don't want them to hate you, but then you also want to get time with the lead.
You also don't know what's up with who.
No idea. How wild would this be? What if the women that are brought on are women he already knows?
I heard some rumor about like an ex coming on.
What if all of the new girls are women he actually knows? That would be wild.
That would be a fucking trip.
That would be a trip, because then it would be like, well, this is even beyond, like, they have more of a relationship with him.
Do we have any early predictions of like who's going to be final? Is it going to be like Rachel or some shit?
Okay. Top 5. Okay, top 5. Abigail, Rachel, Sarah, Lauren.
Who's Lauren?
The other attorney. We didn't see her at all, but I just have a feeling. I have a feeling.
All right,
we saw her in a couple previews too.
Okay.
Lauren and Kayla. Pickup truck.
Is that 4?
That's 5, right? Sarah, Abigail.
Okay.
Yeah, Sarah, Abigail,
Kayla, Rachel.
Kayla, Rachel, and Lauren. Those are my guesses.
I'll call-
it's random, but I'm gonna
next week. I'll give some more insight.
Okay. It's
I'll
a
let y'all
random
know.
top 5, but I'm just gonna roll the dice over here.
I could with, my instinct is Sarah, Abigail, Rachel, but I could see some shit in the fan with one of them and them going home actually week 4.
True.
One of those drama with the girls, misunderstanding, shit interpretations. Anyway, excited for next week. Love this season. Love Matt James, my new king.
Our new king.
You like the 180?
King James. He but yes, broad. So next week we'll be back to our
Regularly
OG
scheduled programming.
Tuesday, Thursday episodes. So get ready for
Word.
that. Word, and chat soon, broads.
Chat soon.